know what a flow of a season looks like. And, we trust guys to just come to work. No matter how you feel, no matter what happens, what's on your mind, you still got to get up and go to work. That holds true for everybody in here. So I think that's the approach we have as individual players, is that regardless of what happens, we still got to go in there and be the best we can be every day.
You've got a lot of experience playing on teams with multiple stars, though. Maybe that's an advantage that you have.
I mean, a lot of these guys play with great players too. You got Nurk play with Damian Lillard, C.J. McCollum. Like, they play with players that can score the basketball and create for themselves as well. So I don't think it's nothing new. And I think it's basketball at the end of the day. I think a lot of guys here got high IQ for the game and understand the game at a different level. So we just, like I said, keep putting in that work in every day. And as players, we got to come out there with more of a sense of urgency, knowing that, all right, we just got to be better. And I think we will.
Kevin, go ahead.
Kind of talking about like the league in its totality. Unfortunately, hearing about like John Morant and his injury, I feel like you handled your injury really well mentally. Is there any like advice that you would give some stars like that?
Yeah, I don't give too much advice. I'm sure everybody's giving John advice over the last year or so. And he's been through injuries before. And I'm sure this is probably his first tough one. I think that's a 6-month recovery. But for the most part, just keep your mind straight, keep your support system tight. And like I've been saying, it's like, regardless of how you feel, days where I didn't want to come into the gym, there's days where I was feeling sorry for myself and didn't believe in myself, but you still got to go to work and get the rehab in to get better, So I think Ja has a great mentality. He's been working hard his whole life to get where he is, so he'll bounce back.
Kevin, I don't know if you saw, but Draymond talked about the comments that you made, and basically was like he reflected. And he said,
I seen that today. Say he was pissed off about what I said?
Initially, and then he thought about it and found the positive.
Well, you got to look at it from my perspective. Like, before I had made those comments, they were saying Draymond's going to therapy and shit. Like, what I'm supposed to think? They say somebody going to therapy. I'm just hope he get better from that and hope he learn from whatever he feel like he needs to learn from going to therapy. So that's all I heard, and I'm glad he's back. I'm glad he can move past that. Draymond is an incredible teammate. He got his times where he loses temper, but everybody has those times, and I'm sure they all happy to have him back. But I didn't mean no ill will by what I said. I know some people look at me as this malicious snake, passive aggressive. Like, I know how people feel about me sometimes. So when I say shit, I don't mean no harm by nobody. I don't mean to disrespect him or his family if he felt that way. I'm just glad he's back on the court.
I think you reflected on it and saw.
Yeah, I just seen the headline, and I ain't really look at the whole thing. I ain't wanna. I'm just glad he's back. I'm glad he's able to talk about his situation and move forward from it and get back to playing and finishing out his Hall of Fame career.
Kevin, not sure how you and James's tenure ended relationship ended, but you guys still have a good relationship despite kind of how everything ended up in Brooklyn?
Yeah. I mean, no doubt that I was pissed about the situation. I'm sure he was pissed about having to move teams again, but when the smoke cleared, you realize it's somebody that you came into the league with, somebody I really, really love as a brother. I want the best for him as an individual. I want him to play bad when we play against him, but for the most part, I want what's best for him and his family going forward. As much as it affected our team, I just still had to look past that and just move forward and realize we still had some solid moments together. And I just wish for the best for everybody in that situation.
Given the run that you, Russ, and James had together in OKC, a night like tonight's special, any more special?
Nah, ain't no more special. I've been competing against these guys on other teams for the last 10 years, it felt like. So it's past that point of being like special, seeing these guys again. It's just another opponent. We got respect for each other. We never gonna forget those moments we shared coming into the league, because I feel like a lot of teams and a lot of franchises in sports looked at that young team and that's something to emulate, 4 or 5 guys, young players that didn't care about them being young, just went out there and played the hardest that they can and had some success. So it was a special time for me. I don't know how everybody else feels about that time, but it was a special, special time that I always pull back from. And I always loved playing with those guys, so it was good to see them have some success. And still being in the league at 16, 15, 17 years in the league, that's always fun to see.
Like Kev.